Hello friends, welcome back to Huawei. Welcome to the discussion on Vision Mains 365. This is part 3 of the internal security. Hope you have seen the other two parts. So let's quickly begin. If you haven't watched the other two parts, I'll leave the link in the iCard. You can just go and watch it. And guys, before going into the lecture, just a small information. The document what we are using for the discussion is the Mains 365 summary document which we have prepared. You can subscribe to this summary document by visiting our Telegram channel. The Telegram channel details are there in the description. You can just download it. You can just go to the Telegram channel using that link and you can just download it from there. Okay. Now let's quickly begin. So the first topic what we have today is maritime security. Second topic, that means the second chapter we have already started. In the previous lecture we have seen various things. Now we are continuing with that. Earlier we have seen all the land borders and all. Now we will talk about the maritime borders. So as you know, India has about 7,500 kilometers of maritime border. So maritime security is a very key, is a very important thing for India. UNSC Summit on Maritime Security has been hosted by India recently, where UNSC adopted a 5-point agenda proposed by India for tackling maritime security. And the maritime security basically includes issues in maritime domain, which comprise of national security, the maritime environment, economic development and human security. Besides world's oceans, it also deals with regional seas, territorial waters, rivers and ports. So this is the image of India's maritime boundary. India is just located above the Indian Ocean region, and India wants to be a net security provider in this Indian Ocean region. Okay, so this is Arabian Sea, you have the Bay of Bengal Sea, you have countries like Sri Lanka, here we have the Andaman Nicobar Islands. So these are the major things for India. Now what are the challenges, or you can say why India has to focus on this maritime security? Why it is important for India? The first one is the international trade. So securing sea lanes of communication is very important for India for the economic growth, because we are dependent on the imports, be it oil or be it various other things. So for imports to happen peacefully, the security in the maritime area is very important. The second thing, we have about 7,500 kilometers of coastline. So that means whenever the coastline is long, whenever the borders are long, the vulnerability also increases. For example, in 2008 we have the Mumbai terror attacks. That happened, that was possible only because of the security lapse, we can say. Next, third one is the harnessing blue economy, because we have very immense potential of maritime sector, immense potential for the maritime sector, and it can be harnessed only in a secure marine environment. Economic activities depend on the marine resources, comprises 4.1% of India's economy. Right. Next one is technological development. Rapidly evolving nature of threats demands a greater focus on securing our maritime environment. Example, recently an Israeli ship was attacked by a drone in the northern Arabian Sea, killing 2 of its crew members. So that's also another reason why India has to focus on its maritime security. Now, what are the major maritime issues? The major maritime issues are transnational organized crimes, environmental catastrophes, illegal migration, terrorism and piracy. These are the major threats to the maritime space. And what are the issues in tackling this maritime space? What are the issues? The first thing is that countries are not following the UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on Law of Sea. For example, USA did not ratify it. China has rejected the Permanent Court of Arbitration's ruling. Permanent Court of Arbitration rule that China should follow UNCLOS and it should not act the way it want by giving the 9-dash line in the South China Sea. But China has rejected, as always. China is one country which does not follow international norms but preach for it. Next, another important challenge is that the maritime region is a global common. The maritime region is a global common. So when something is global common, that means the whole world has a stake in it, but no country has complete authority in it. So that's also another challenge. Next one is international treaties in lack of universal character. USA has signed but not ratified, as we have seen. And also geopolitical interest overrides security concerns. For example, Russia's geopolitical interest induced into overlook China's violation of UNCLOS in the South China Sea region. Right? So now, the national and international mechanisms to deal with these things. The first one is the Saga Doctrine of India. Security and Growth for All in the Region, launched by India to deepen economic and security cooperation with India's maritime neighbors and assist in building their maritime security capabilities. Next one is the UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on Law of Sea and Law of Sea Treaty. It defines the rights and responsibilities of the nations towards the use of world oceans. Next is securing Indo-Pacific region, Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative under the Australia-India Partnership for Maritime Cooperation in Indo-Pacific to support an open, inclusive, resilient, prosperous and rule-based maritime order based on 7 pillars of maritime security, which includes maritime ecology, disaster risk reduction and management. Next is Quad, which is a strategic dialogue between India, USA, Japan and Australia to ensure and support a free, open and prosperous Indian Ocean region, Indo-Pacific region, not Indian Ocean, Indo-Pacific region. Contact group on piracy of the coast of the Somalia. International governance mechanism to facilitate discussion, coordination of action among the states and organizations to suppress the piracy, because piracy is a major threat, you can say. Right now, what is the way forward? Way forward is, the first thing is adopting the 5-point agenda by UNSC. 5-point agenda, and this includes free maritime trade without barriers to establishing legitimate trade. Settlement of maritime disputes should be peaceful and on the basis of international law. Responsible maritime connectivity should be encouraged. Need to collectively combat maritime threats posed by non-state actors and natural calamities, preserve the marine environment, etc. And also there has to be consensus building on creation of maritime security in UNSC, which is proposed by Russian President Vladimir Putin, and also universalizing all the global treaties like the UNCLOS. Okay, this is about the maritime security. The next one, what we have is the coastal security. Coastal security basically is a subset of maritime security. Coastal security mostly deals with the territorial waters. Under UNCLOS, we know there are territorial waters, you have the exclusive economic zone EEZ, and you have the international waters. So basically territorial waters are the waters belonging to the country specifically, they are considered as part of the country. Next one, you have the exclusive economic zone, which is up to 200 nautic miles from the coast. So in this exclusive economic zone, only that country will have the ultimate authority, whereas other countries can pass through it. Economically it can be exploited by only that country, but whereas other countries can pass through it, that means the ships and all, they can also pass. Okay, that is about the exclusive economic zone. Next you have the international waters. International waters are belong to the, basically they are the global commons, that does not belong to anyone. Okay, right. Now what is the significance of coastal security for India? Why it is important? Because coastal security is very, very important in terms, especially when we see from the national security, architecture, because the protecting coast is very, very important to protect the country. It is important for India's economic development with a direct bearing on the areas like trade. Fish production and strategic mineral exploration is another area why it is important. And also it is important for India to fulfill its geostrategic interest in the Indian Ocean region, like countering Chinese influence, becoming a net security provider, and executing harder operations. That means humanitarian and disaster response operations. And also dealing with climate-induced crises like the rising sea level and environmental degradation due to developmental activities. So this is the significance of coastal security. Now, if you see the evolution of coastal security architecture, in 1974 the Custom Marine Organization was formed, in 1977 Indian Coast Guard was formed, post 26/11 various initiatives were taken, like the multi-layered surveillance system strengthened with the expansion role and duties of Navy, Indian Coast Guard, BSF, CSF, etc. NC3, a National Command and Control Intelligence Network, and IMAC, Indian Maritime Awareness System, was established to strengthen the maritime domain awareness. So the IMAC is there in Gurgaon. Next, regular conduct of these inter-agency maritime exercises to build synergy, interoperability and jointness, increased cooperation with other countries for information sharing, capacity building, etc. And in 2017, the Maritime Theatre Command was proposed to integrate the assets of Navy, Army and the Air Force. And so this was proposed by Bin Rawat. So now he expired. Now let's see where this theatre command goes. Indian Air Force and Indian Coast Guard to form a net-centric warfare model. Okay, so this is how it is. Now if you see the gaps in the infrastructure, the If you see, basically the coastal security comes under the state government. So state government not supporting and not giving adequate money for the development of these marine police stations and all is a major concern. Next, multiplicity of agencies. There are multiple agencies, as we have seen: Navy, Coast Guard, Marine Police, etc. And there is problem of coordination. And the focus is not there on terrorism, which is resulting in less emphasis on non-traditional threats, lack of professionalism, technological backwardness, and poor security awareness. Now, how can these gaps be fulfilled? This is how. First one is enacting the Coastal Security Bill to facilitate creation of national maritime awareness, strengthening surveillance infrastructure, creation of Central Marine Police Force on the lines of the Central Armed Police Force, promulgate the National Commercial Maritime Security Document for efficient, coordinated and effective actions, effective involvement of coastal communities such as fishermen, reinforcing coastal regulation zones, recalibrate the defense expenditure to increase capacity and resources. These are the major ways. Okay, now let's go to the next topic, that is the piracy in Indian Ocean region. So recently India joined the Djibouti Code of Conduct, that is Jeddah Amendment, as an observer. The Djibouti Code of Conduct is basically, it was established in 2009 under the International Maritime Organization, which is aimed at repression of piracy and armed robbery against ships in the Western Indian Ocean, Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. The Jeddah Amendment broadened the scope of Djibouti Code, which covers measures for suppressing a range of illicit activities including piracy, arms trafficking, narcotic trafficking, illegal trade, etc. Its members also cooperate in investigation, arrest and prosecution of persons suspected to have committed acts of piracy, the interdiction and seizure of suspect ships, the rescue of ships and the people subject to the piracy, etc. And grouping comprising of 18 members joining the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, East Coast of Africa, island countries in this Indian Ocean region. Okay, so India is now an observer. So piracy, if you see, it's a big problem in this African region. Piracy is a very big problem in the African region. Why? If you see the major factors is basically the political instability, lack of law enforcement agency in the African region. Okay, and also if you see the African region, it's a major thing. It's a major I would say it's a major area for the sea lanes of communication. A lot of ships pass through that. So this presents an opportunity to all these pirates. And also petro-piracy is also there. Most of the piracy intentioned attacks have been against the ships involved in oil and gas transportation, like tankers, the bulk carriers, tugs, etc. In the Nigeria coastline in 2018, it was observed that most of the attacks were on the gas and oil fields only. Okay, and as I said, African sea lanes of communication were adversely affected, as over 90% of Africa's imports and exports move by sea. So piracy is a greater threat, and India want to include piracy into the UNSC. Okay, and so Indian Ocean is a major you can say the region faces major threat because of the piracy. Okay, so now what has to be done? You can just go through all this data. Okay, you can just pause and go through this data. Even in the document it is there. There is nothing much to explain here. So if you see, what are the efforts by the Indian government to counter the piracy in this region? What are the major efforts? If you see, large percentage of India's trade, including oil and fertilizers, passes through the Gulf of Aden. Safety and unhindered continuity of maritime trade is very, very important, and for this Indian government is protecting and escorting the ships through the Indian Navy. Indian Navy is guarding all this region. Indian Navy is providing security. Indian Naval and Coast Guard ships have been deployed in piracy prone regions in the Indian Ocean region, which will help all the ships. Director General of Shipping has launched a web-based registration, you can say, to avail the escort facility. Global coordination is also there by participating countries in these multilateral forums. Okay, and India is active participant in the Shared Awareness and Deconfliction, the SHADE initiative that facilitates sharing of information. India, Japan and China have agreed to coordinate patrols to ensure effective and optimal use of the combined maritime assets to escort ships, especially in the internationally recommended transit corridor established for use by all merchant ships in the Gulf of Aden. These are the efforts by the Indian government to counter piracy. There are various international efforts also. The Contact Group on Piracy of the Coast of Somalia, the Maritime Security Program, the Maritime Crime Program in the Indian Ocean region, and also African Union and all that region also has various initiatives. You can just pause and go through it. Okay, so now the root cause of the piracy problem has to be solved first to solve piracy. The lack of employment opportunities, the lack of legal governance and maritime infrastructure, those are not addressed properly in the coast of Africa because there are various reasons. First of all, Africa is also a poor country, so they can't afford to spend more money on these kind of things. Okay, and so for long-term success of anti-piracy, the social development of these countries is very, very important. Thus, long-term success of this piracy depends on the stable and unified Somalia state, and this can be achieved by a more coherent regional effort to address smuggling, and that would help stop money flow that fuel these groups. Capacity building of Somalia's navy so that the dependency on foreign navies and need for international support progressively reduces. Comprehensive counter piracy efforts must keep the pressure on these pirate groups while addressing the root cause that enables these networks to emerge. Okay, so these are the various routes and all. These are the the pirate groups, or you can say the sea lanes of communication, and this is where the pirates and all, they will be there generally in these regions. Okay, so basically these are the sea lanes of communication. That means the international maritime traffic move through these areas, right? So that's it guys for this lecture. Before I leave, a small information: we provide Vision Mains 365 summary, Vision Mains test series summary. You can subscribe to these by visiting our Telegram channel. The Telegram channel details are there in the description. So thank you. I'll see you again in the next lecture. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind.